Now, on the left-hand side, that's the supply side, that's the output side. So, like I said, there was a broad-based growth in 2025. But the main hero of growth in 25 was industrial output. Industry is estimated to have grown by about 14% year on year. And within the industrial sector, it was the energy sector that grew the most, 20.5%. And the full commissioning of 𝐷𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬 2, Suzhou, and Seifu Solar Power, to mention the few, led to that kind of, marked increase in the energy output. Construction sector also grew by double digit from an earlier dip in 2024. So there was a rebound, the reasons I mentioned earlier. Services grew as well. If you look at the yellow bar in estimated 2025, that's services. And that growth came from 30 to 33% increase in the tourist arrival. So the increase in tourist arrival had a cascading effect on transportation, on hotels and restaurants. So that's the services growth for 25. Agriculture, of course, growth was muted, and it's expected because it averaged the average historical trend of moderate expansion. Now, on the demand side, which is the expenditure side, which is the right-hand side, you see that the growth largely came from the light blue one, where the 8.5 actually sits. The growth largely came from the exponential growth in the gross fixed capital formation. So capital investment was intensive in 2025. How did it happen? If you look at the trade statistics, there's a prominent figure there on import of crypto assets. So that led to, so that's a private investment, right? So that led to a heightened jump in the gross fixed capital formation. But that's not the only, So that's not only the case or reason for that high jump in the gross fixed capital. Construction sector recovered, as I said. And, private investment also increased because the credit to private sector jumped by 46.2% from a low of about 6% in 2024. So there was this the huge capital investment from the private sector side. Private consumption moderated to about 3.5%, underpinned by credit availability and then rising remittances. Public consumption was also along the similar line. We estimate it to be around 3.1%. After a marked about 11 to 12% jump in the previous fiscal year, which was fueled by the salary increases. Now, going forward on the supply side, which is the forecast, overall growth will remain robust, but it will dip down, 6.9%, and then it will climb up to 7.2%. The industrial growth is still projected to lead the growth in forecast year. And within the industrial sector growth, it will be the construction. And within the construction, it will be the hydropower leading the chart. So industry is projected to grow by 12.1% in 26, and then slightly down to 10.6% in 27, anchored on continuous construction expansion of 𝐷𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐬, Dojilung, Kholuchu, with a combined generation capacity of about 2.3 gigawatts. So this will be the central to the growth in the forecast year. Mining inquiry, as we know from experience, when the construction boom happens, they also grow in tandem. So mining inquiry will also benefit from the growth expansion in the construction sector. Electricity output will be muted because within the forecast year or in the forecast year, there are no new hydropower plants that are coming on stream. So the output growth will be muted, but it will not go into the negative territory. Services expansion will be moderate because we don't see any drastic changes in the tourism policies, and the expectation is that it will stabilize at the historical average. On the demand side, demand side, domestic demand will be buoyant in 2026, driven by private and public investment, largely coming from hydropower investments, sustained and increased capital allocation from the government side, and then there's a continued ramp up in the hydropower construction, as explained earlier. Net export will improve drastically in 26 because in 25 there was a jump in import. The trade deficit, if I remember correctly, was about 120 billion nultrum. And the reason for that is there was a huge crypto import, crypto-related instrument import. So that is expected to come down. So it will stabilize, and the net import will actually come down to about 34.2% from the current, 48% or so. The fixed investment is projected to increase by 4.2%, 26, largely coming from the government investment and continued investment from the private. Private consumption projected to grow moderately because remittances are going to ease unless the central bank continues to introduce incentive measures. Credit growth 46 will be unsustainable because of its macro characters of characters that does not confine with the macroeconomic foundations. So if you keep on inflating increasing the credit, it will have square effect on the inflation as well. Public consumption will be steady because we don't expect a major jump in the public expenditure, especially on the current side, because the major jump will come if the government again introduces a salary hike. Otherwise, it's going to be steady over time.